and some of the business users. Anyone can remember?
SCM IMPL.
SCM IMPL is the implementation user. Okay, and PRC underscore IMPL is there. This is for procurement. HCM underscore IMPL is there. This is for human capital management, HR. And fin underscore IMPL is there. This for the financials implementation user. But you can use any demo, you can use any implementation user, because all these users are having which role? All these users are having which role?
Application
developer.
Application implementation consultant role. All these users are having that role. So you can open any user to configure any module. So from the supply chain, you can configure financial modules also. From the financials, you can configure SCM modules also. So if you're having application implementation consultant role, you are able to configure any module, any setup. Okay, full access. And in case of business users, in the demo instance, I'm talking about demo instance. Frank, again. This guy is for inventory. This guy is for the inventory transactions. Why this guy is for the inventory transactions? Because he got inventory roles only. He's a guy working in inventory department. So he should have access to inventory. So if this guy is working in the inventory department, this guy will be having access to payroll department data, HR department data.
No.
Can you assign HR roles to him? Can you assign payroll roles to him? Or can you assign finance roles to him? No, right? No. So if you assign like that, then you'll be caught in the audit. Company audit is there. In the company audit, so if you're in some department, you should have that department access, and you should have access to your job function only. Outside of that, you should not have any access. If our auditors are finding that you're having more access than required, then it's a audit question. Okay. And AC Brown, this guy having dual access. This guy having not dual, triple access, I would say. Procurement, finance, and then projects. That means from this guy, you can create procurement transactions, finance, and then projects also. That means he has roles of all these three modules. Okay. And Kelvin.Roth. So this guy is having just access to the procurement operations, just procurement. Okay. And one more, Valerie Tobinski. So this lady is for order management, nothing but to create a sales orders. To create sales orders. So these business users are working for which company?
Vision.
Vision Corporation. So this Vision Corporation is a demo client. Is a demo client that is assumed by the Oracle, and Oracle has configured against everything this client. Okay. And now, so here these people are going to coordinate with each other. How they coordinate with each other? Because, so suppose if Kelvin Roth creates a PO here, the stock has to be received by whom? Inventory people. Correct? Payment has to be done by whom? Finance people. Right? So for one transaction, the different people are going to coordinate in the application, in the business also. Because, so take the application out, aside for some time, just talk about the business. Let's assume you're an entrepreneur. You're having a company. You're an entrepreneur, you're having a company. You have sales department, marketing department, purchasing department, finance department, right? So if the purchasing departments buys something, who has to make the payment? Who has to make the payment? Your finance department, correct? And who has to receive the stock? Your warehouse department. So different people are working together here. Similarly, same happens in the application. Okay. Now, in this demo instance, you don't know those users' passwords, right? So we'll reset one user password here. I'm going to the security console. Go to users, SCM_IMPL. Open this user. I'm setting the password to Oracle123. Okay. You can use this password for this user. Everyone, okay. You need not to reset again. You try with this password. If it is not working, you reset to the same password. Okay. We'll log into that account now. I've done the reset. We'll get into that account. Okay. All of you use the same password. If that is not working, please reset to the same password again. Okay. So how to reset? You go to our account. We are given one account, right? Krishna account. You log into that account and reset the password. Clear?
Yes.
Oracle at 123.
Yes, sir. That's why I've written here. O caps. Okay. And don't ask for instance passwords in the group. Group is not for video sharing, instance sharing, because old batch students also there. You want to share instance to old batch students also? You want to share your videos account to old batch students also? No, please don't do that. Okay. If you do that, what happens? Not only me, you also get troubled. Because if everybody is using the same application, because of the load, application performance slows down. Right? And we're having multiple instances. For one batch, we are giving one instance. For another batch, we are giving a different instance to manage the load. Okay. So please cooperate with us. Now, what are the steps to perform this minimax planning? First, we'll create an item. Okay. We'll create an item and we enable minimax planning. How to create an item? You have to go to product management. What is the role required to create an item? What is the role required to create an item? Product?
Development.
Product manager. As of now, we discussed about few roles only, and you forgot one role already. If you're giving the answer, you have to give the answer confidently and right answer. Product manager. So I'm going to the PIM.
Product data steward from.
Product data steward for upload, not to create manually. Click on create item. You're all batch students. And what about the organization names for the Vision company? 000 is the master org. 000 is the org code. Operations is the name of that org. It's a master organization. Okay. And item class, root item class. Already one template is selected. No, I don't want to apply that template because that's a finished good template. I would like to create a buy item. So to create a buy item, which template we should apply? Purchased item template. I would like to create just one item. Okay, and click on OK. You can ignore this warning. Proceed to continue. Warnings you can ignore, but errors you have to consider. Enter the item. So batch number is 51. So 51K. minimax item. Enter the description, and life cycle phase is not defaulted from the template. So we're selecting the life cycle phase as production, and unit of measure got defaulted from the template. So we're good, and go to specifications, and in the specifications under inventory, if you go, sorry, let's go to the planning. Go to the planning. As of now, we discussed attributes under inventory as of now. So we discussed about this lot section, and we discussed about the serial section, and we also discussed about this cycle counting, yes or no. Okay. And we discussed about these two statuses also. Like the default, the moment you generate a lot number, what should be the default status for the lot number? The moment you generate a serial number, what should be the default status for the serial number? So these attributes we discussed it so far. Now we are touching on the new tab, that is planning. Under the planning right now, this item is not a planned item. So how to identify whether this is a what type of item? You can identify from here. We applied purchased item template, right? That's why it's a buy item. This is the place, this is the attribute you have to refer to know what type of item is this. It's a buy or make, it's a buy item. Okay. So generally people refer this field, not this field. Not this field. You should refer this field under planning. If you go to make or buy, you can see that the type of the item here.
Sir, one question. Sir, when you say template, do you mean 51K item class, sir?
The template we selected is purchased item template here. In the previous screen, we selected purchased item template.
Okay.
But when we are discussing, we created 51K purchased item template.
Right.
We create our own custom template, but here I'm using the predefined template given by Oracle. That is purchased item template. Okay. Now, if you enable minimax and if you enter minimum quantity and everything here, that means you are entering in the master ordination. Correct? If you enter in the master ordination, because we are creating first item in the master org, right? So if you enter here, all this data is gonna be inherited to the inventory ordinations also. That means if you enter the data, the same data is applicable for all the inventory ordinations. Suppose you don't want to enable this item. You don't want to enable this item as a minimax for all the ordinations. You want to enable only for one ordination. So we'll do only what org level. So I'm selecting the org here. 001 is one of the inventory ordination under Vision company. This org belongs to Seattle. Okay. The code is 001, name is Seattle. I'm selecting apply and done button. Okay, now save it. Now save it. After saving, go to association. And now what I'm going to do is I'll open this item in the inventory org. At this org level, I will enable minimax planning. At this ordination level, if I enable, then it's a minimax plan for all the ordinations that you are going to assign. Suppose let us take you assign to another org also. Another org 002. So if you enter the minimax and minimum quantity, maximum quantity at master org level, that will be defaulted to remaining two ordinations also, right? But you want to enable minimax planning only in this ordination in 001. So open the item in 001. Okay, now I have opened item in the Seattle org, which is 001. Now go to specifications. At this org level, we enable minimax planning. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. I selected inventory planning method as minimax. So there are another two methods are there, reorder point planning and supplier managed planning. I'm covering minimax planning only because minimax planning is 95% of the clients are using. I'm covering minimax planning. And the minimum quantity, maximum quantity, I'll be entering here 1000, 5000, and the minimum order quantity 50, maximum order quantity 3000. Okay. I enable this item as a minimax planned item, minimum quantity, maximum quantity, minimum order quantity, maximum order quantity. Okay. Now, you see this replenishment type. I would like to enter this. Nothing but I discussed about this one, right? The source type. I want to enter one option here, but which is disabled here. Why it is disabled? Because this attribute is master level control attribute, this attribute. So you can only update this attribute at the master level, not at inventory org level. Okay. So in this case, what we can do, we can go and select this property at master org level, or else you can change this attribute from master level to the org level. So we'll do one thing. We'll change this attribute from master level to org level. Okay. Now currently, let me save this. Now, you remember a screen where you can see all the 293 plus attributes? Do you remember that screen? What is the navigation for that? You have to go to product management. Go to product management and go to items, and here operational attribute group control. This one, operational attribute groups. If you go here, what is the name of that attribute?
Replenishment.
Replenishment type. You search for that attribute here, and it's not showing up. So this attribute is under planning group, right? So I'm searching with planning. Costing. Planning is displaying here as general planning.
And it's a replenishment source type.
Okay, sir. So I'm just selecting general planning tab. Under that, this is inventory planning method. Where is that? Minimum order quantity. Yeah, this one. Replenishment source type. Currently it's master level. That's why you're not able to update at the inventory org level. Clear? Why you are not able to update this attribute here? Clear, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So now I'm changing to org level. I'm changing to org level, save and close. Now we have to close this screen and reopen. Let's click on save and close. Now I'm trying to reopen that. Now go to the specifications and planning. And now it's enabled. Okay, the source type, I am selecting the supplier because I'm planning to replenish the stock from the supplier. That means if the stock is less than this minimum quantity, I want the system to create what type of suggestion? A request to the purchasing department, purchase requisition that has to be created automatically, and then which will create a purchase order. Okay. To create a purchase requisition, you should have a default, you should configure a default price, default purchase price that we set up at the item level. So if you go to purchasing section, what is the default purchasing price? You have to set up here. Okay, just enter 1. 1 as the default price. Okay, that means your requisition, your purchase requisition get created with 1. It will be created with 1. So for good, so make sure you are entering this. Don't miss this. If you miss this, you'll get error.
Is
Enter the
that
purchase price and
Sorry.
good.
Is that the list price in EBS, Krishna?
Correct.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay. Enter the PO price here, purchase price, and the remaining minimax attributes we entered under planning. Okay. Now save it like this. Whichever the items you want to enable minimax planning, you have to enable like this. Now we enabled minimax planning for this item under only one ordination. Suppose the same data you enter here in the master ordination, that means it's a minimax planned for all the inventory ordinations. We don't want to do that. That's why we have enabled minimax planning only this ordination level. If you want, you can enable minimax planning in this ordination level with different numbers. Okay. Now that's it. After that, we have to run one program. That program you should not run from the implementation user. Right now we created item from which user? We created item from which user?
SCM.
Ideally, is it right? No, it's not right. So implementation users, I mean application allowed, but ideally it's not a right way. In the real time, we are not responsible for the item creation or inventory transactions. We don't do. And application also, it's going to restrict in some places. But here item creation, it allowed by using this user, it allowed. Now the next program, if you run from this user, you will get an error saying that this user is not a business user or not a company employee. So the next program we have to run from the actual business user only. Okay, the actual business user here is Frank again. That is the inventory guy. We need a password for Frank again now. Now to perform this planning, that user should have inventory manager role also. Inventory manager. If you see my roles explanation here, clearly I have mentioned. So inventory manager can perform inventory replenishment. That means, so inventory planning can be done by this role. So this guy is having this role, right? You can see here, already assigned to this role. And click on reset. And we are resetting to the same password. Okay. Now we will log into this user. Same password for both the users. Now we'll run minimax planning program. This